Looking for Murillo, this just about. This time it's going to hold up for him, is it? Martinez, really good chance, stunning save!
Think about this for a second. A nation that has never tasted victory at a World Cup, standing across from a team that played in a World Cup final just 8 years ago. Everyone expects the result to be predictable. Everyone expects the European giants to walk through it. But nobody told Panama that. Nobody gave them the memo that said, just roll over and let Croatia have their 3 points. And because of that, what unfolded at Toronto Stadium on June 23, 2026 was far more than just a scoreline. This was a story of survival, of history, and of heartbreak. Panama 0, Croatia 1. Here is every detail you need to know. Both these teams arrived at matchday 2 in identical situations, 1 defeat each, and staring down elimination if they failed to get a result tonight. Croatia had lost to England. Panama had been beaten by Ghana. The math was brutally simple: win or go home. There was no room for draws, no room for moral victories, no room for anything except 3 points. And layered on top of that, survival pressure was one of the most remarkable individual milestones of this entire World Cup. Luka Modric, the Real Madrid legend, the 2018 Ballon d'Or winner, the man who carried Croatia to a World Cup final, was stepping out for his 200th international appearance. 200 caps for his country. He first pulled on that Croatia jersey back in 2006. Nearly 20 years later, here he was, still starting, still leading, still refusing to let go. He now sits in an exclusive group of 4 men in the history of men's football to reach that landmark, alongside Ronaldo at 230, Kuwait's Badr al-Mutawa at 202, and Messi at 201. History within history on a night that already had everything to play for. Nobody predicted what happened in the opening 45 minutes. Nobody. Panama came out with a compact, aggressive 3-4-3 shape and absolutely suffocated Croatia's attacking play. The Croatians, with all their pedigree, all their experience, could not find a way through. Their passes were misplaced. Their movement was slow and easy to read. And every time they pushed forward, Panama's defensive block swallowed them whole. The moment that nearly broke the game open came in the 23rd minute. Michael Amir Murillo delivered a dangerous ball into the Croatian penalty area. Jose Luis Rodriguez attacked it with full commitment. A thundering header directed powerfully at goal. Dominik Livakovic, Croatia's goalkeeper, somehow got across in time and flung himself to tip the ball onto the crossbar. The sound of that ball hitting the woodwork echoed around the stadium. Panama were inches from the lead. The goal was ruled out anyway due to an earlier foul in the build-up, but the sheer audacity of the chance told you everything about Panama's mentality on this night. On the other end of the pitch, Croatia barely troubled Panama's goalkeeper Orlando Mosquera until the dying seconds of the first half, when Martin Baturina fired a long-range shot toward the near post that Mosquera pushed behind for a corner. 1 attempt. That was Croatia's best moment of the entire first half. When the halftime whistle sounded, the expected scoreline was 0-0, but the performance scoreline had Panama running away with it. Their expected goals number was higher than Croatia's, despite having less possession. The underdogs were winning the game without even being on the scoreboard. Zlatko Dalic did not wait around. He looked at what he had seen for 45 minutes and immediately made 2 substitutions. Josko Gvardiol, one of the most expensive defenders in the world, was hauled off. Petar Musa, who had been invisible up front, was also withdrawn. Coming on in their places were Ante Budimir and Andrej Kramaric. A complete shift in personnel. A clear message from Dalic that the first half performance was unacceptable and that Croatia needed to find goals immediately. The second half looked completely different from Croatia's perspective. More direct, more physical, more purposeful. They began pushing forward with a sense of urgency that had been entirely absent for the first 45 minutes. 9 minutes after coming onto the pitch, Ante Budimir wrote himself into the story. Mario Pasalic played a brilliant flick into the right channel, releasing Josip Stanisic into space. Stanisic drove hard to the byline and whipped a low, devastating cross across the 6-yard box. Budimir was there, back post, one touch, 1-0, 54 minutes played. A substitute who had barely had time to warm up just scored the most important goal of Croatia's tournament. The bench erupted. The Croatian fans in the stadium went wild. And Panama, who had been the better team for so much of this match, suddenly found themselves chasing the game. 3 minutes after the goal, Croatia almost made it 2. Pasalic found himself in a one-on-one with Mosquera, and the Panama goalkeeper came up big, blocking the shot. The rebound came straight back to Pasalic, and he lifted it over the bar. A golden opportunity to settle the match completely. Gone. Panama refused to accept the defeat quietly. They pushed more bodies forward, played with increasing urgency, and forced Croatia to defend deeper and deeper in the final quarter of the match. Wave after wave of Panama pressure broke against Livakovic's resistance. The Croatian goalkeeper was immense in the closing stages, positioning himself perfectly, reading every dangerous delivery, cutting out every second ball that came into his area. Mosquera, on the other side, had himself a remarkable night. He was arguably the outstanding individual performer for stretches of this game. Sharp, commanding, aggressive in coming for crosses. Panama's goalkeeper kept them competitive right up until the final whistle. But one goal was ultimately not enough to claw back. Croatia ran down the clock. Panama gave everything they had. And when the referee blew the final whistle, the margin was just 1 goal. But the emotions on both sides of the pitch could not have been further apart. This was a tight tactical contest, and the statistics reflected that. Panama's expected goals in the first half exceeded Croatia's, despite playing with less of the ball, a stat that tells you how well their game plan worked before the break. The decisive goal came from a substitute within 9 minutes of his introduction. Livakovic was tested repeatedly in the second half and delivered crucial saves each time. And Modric, 200 caps in, still orchestrating play from deep, still reading situations before they developed, received a standing ovation from the crowd when he was substituted off late in the second half. A small moment, but one that felt enormous, given everything it represented. Croatia now face Ghana in their final group game, knowing that a win keeps them in the tournament. They will need a dramatically improved first-half performance if they want to go any further, because a stronger team would have punished them severely for the disorganized, tentative football they showed in the opening 45 minutes against Panama. For Panama, the tournament is over, eliminated with 1 game still to play. No points from 2 matches. But if you watched this game, really watched it, you know that the scoreline does not accurately represent what Panama brought to this World Cup. They were disciplined. They were organized. They were aggressive in the right moments. They pushed Croatia to the absolute limit, hitting the crossbar, forcing Livakovic into multiple saves, and refusing to simply accept the role of a defeated team. That spirit will matter when they come back. And they will come back. Croatia did not play well. They survived. A substitute 9 minutes into his appearance scored the only goal. Their goalkeeper bailed them out repeatedly in the second half. They left points on the table in front of an open goal. And they will still count this as a crucial 3 points. Because in a World Cup group stage, all that matters is the result. Panama leaves Toronto with nothing on the standings but something invaluable in the dressing room. The knowledge that they belonged on this stage, that they competed, and that they pushed one of Europe's most experienced squads to the absolute wire. 1 cross, 1 finish, One night in Canada. Croatia breathes again. Panama's journey ends. That is the full breakdown for you today. If this video helped you understand the game better, hit like, subscribe to stay across every World Cup match, and leave a comment below. Who do you think was the better team on the night? I will see you for the next one.